Hey everybody, my name is Charu. I'm a writer and journalist based in the southeastern United States, and I also host a podcast called The Story with Charu. This week, Joe Biden announced his vice presidential pick, and most of us were not surprised that this is a black woman, Senator Kamala Harris. Also, we claim her as Indians, by the way, but you can look that up later. And I wanted to take a minute because as excited as some folks are, I've also seen a lot of voter apathy, and this really concerns me. I've seen a lot of people kind of say, oh, you know what, I'm settling for Biden. I can't bring myself to even vote for either one of them. I've even seen people say, oh, anybody but her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm here to tell people that a lot needs to change. A lot needs to change for us as Americans and in this country. But this election is so important. And if you don't see that, I really don't know how anybody can convince you. And maybe we shouldn't be trying to convince you. So here's what I will say. If you know anything about world history, or if you've done a lot of traveling, the next few months in this country are going to make or break us. I mean, as bad as things are in this country right now, there are places where things are really bad. And you don't want this country to become like those places. If you've ever visited one of those places, you know. And I'm really tired of Americans sort of, I can't get excited about Biden. This is not a football game. These people are not supposed to be, it's not a pep rally. It's the election. This is really important. You have to make a decision and you have to show up. And there's still so much going on. I mean, there are racial divisions that we need to really work on. We need to talk about. We need to try to heal. There's still kids in cages at the border. Kids that look like me, that look like my kids. We got to do something. I mean, we've really got to confront who we are as a nation and fix this. And I'm an unaffiliated voter. I don't belong to the Democratic Party. I hear those messages of the fact that the Democrats need to kind of work on getting our vote as brown and black folks, that they sort of take it for granted because they know we can't vote for the other side because of what they're doing. I don't really know what's going on over there right now, but this is just really important, and you have to get vested, and you need to get excited, and you need to sort of see this as a step in the right direction and sort of a step in us working to fix some of these issues. And the other thing I wanted to kind of touch on about this is that these moves to the extreme, or what I view as the extreme of each party, really indicate that I think Americans are just fed up. They feel like, and it's not just our country. I mean, actually, across the world, there was huge protests in Beirut, Lebanon this week after the explosion there. People are just really sick of what they perceive as government being very ineffective. And that is an issue that we need to address. And I don't know whether for us as Americans that means more term limits and more limits on these people, being in there forever and then being a lobbyist and things like that. But we've got a lot of work to do. And I hope that you'll get excited and that you at least realize that you need to vote. The other thing I wanted to say, if you're in any position, if you're an active voter like me, like I think when I went to go look it up, I had like an insane, maybe 70 or 80% participation rate. And if you're an active voter, you know that whenever you go to the polls, you'll see these old folks that work them, right? Retired usually, and they're there every election. Well, this year because of COVID, a lot of these elderly folks cannot work the polls. So if you're in any position to want to really do your civic duty, I always say on the show, not all soldiers carry weapons. Not all warriors are in the battlefield. We need folks to do that as well. And I've actually signed up to work the polls in my town and get the training and show up to ensure that our democracy can function as best as it can. So I want to encourage you to look into that if that's something you might be interested in. And check out my podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, The Story with Charu.